All right, so we got a couple of articles to talk about. Barry Remnants floods Arkansas's Interstate. Weather.com. Just wanted to give us an update here. It's not really a big article, mainly a video. Let's go ahead and turn off the sound. Mississippi, obviously already underwater. Louisiana, most parts of Louisiana underwater. Some areas in Louisiana, they're not sure that they're going to come back. They're not sure this water's going anywhere, which is pretty scary to think of. So this wasn't the catastrophic hurricane, thankfully, but this did drop a lot of rain, and this is going to disrupt another part of the country's food supply. It looks like this throughout Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas. Parts of Tennessee got some flooding as well. Nothing like what we were seeing here. Yes, more hail. That was not really part of our broadcast, but hey, it's relevant. Look at the size of it. Again, hail is every day now. I mean, with the flooding, there's not a day that goes by that we don't see golf ball size or tennis ball size or now grapefruit. Barry's not done yet. What's next? Let's find out. Of course, weather.com. The remnants of Barry will soak parts of the lower Mississippi.
That's the remnants of Barry yesterday moving through
Thank you very much. Barry's remnant is currently centered over Illinois, but the torrential rain from it was focused in southern Arkansas much of Tuesday. Water rescues and closed or washed out roads were reported in northeastern Hempstead, Howard, and central Nevada counties in Arkansas, where a flash flood emergency was previously in effect but has since been dropped. A portion of Interstate 30 in Clark County, Arkansas had to be closed because of floodwaters, according to the state's Department of Transportation. Doppler radar estimate rainfall totals up to 12 inches in southwestern Arkansas as of Tuesday morning. The highest total of rain gauge in the region was 13.5 inches in Murfreesboro, Arkansas. That's Murfreesboro, Arkansas, not to be confused with Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is about half hour away from Nashville. Less than a half inch of shy of the state's tropical cyclone rainfall record of 13.9 inches set during Tropical Storm Allison in 1989. Let's go back. Okay, so yeah, close to coming out of a solar minimum was Allison, by the way. Damage from a possible tornado was reported Tuesday afternoon in Marshall County, Mississippi, where a trampoline was blown away and windows of homes were blown out, according to local media reports. Flash flood watches have been issued by the National Weather Service from Arkansas into northern Mississippi, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, southern Missouri, and southern Illinois. Additional rainfall in these areas could trigger more flash flooding through Tuesday evening. Isolated rainfall totals up to 5 inches are possible in northern Mississippi. Tropical moisture associated with Barry's remnants will move farther eastward on Wednesday, fueling showers and thunderstorms with the torrential rainfall. Localized flash flooding is possible from Tennessee Valley into the northeast, which is coming this way. Tomorrow is going to be a washout here in upstate New York and most other parts as well. And this weather.com article kind of gives it a little history report here about this storm and where it went. Here's some of the rain totals. Alabama, almost 10 inches in Montrose. Murfreesboro, we just reported 13.5. Langley, 12.73. Langley, Arkansas. Florida, 4.7 inches. Louisiana, 23.58 inches near Ragley. Near Oberlin, we got 18.16 inches. Marksville, 16.8. Baton Rouge, 6 inches. Past Christian, 30 inches of rain in Mississippi. Missouri, 4 inches of rain in Poplar Bluff. Tennessee, Cookeville had 6.09 inches of rain. Memphis picked up about 5.5 inches of rain as well. Beaumont, Texas, 4.61 inches of rain. So widespread areas received more than 4 inches of rain. Some got more than others. Of course, the grand winner of it all was Ragley, Louisiana, at 23.58 inches of rain. Now, this was reported all through over the weekend. So, again, the storm was predicted to drop about 8 to 10 inches in Louisiana, parts of Mississippi in the beginning. Some folks thought it was going to get a little stronger, drop 20 to 24 inches of rain. Thankfully, we only saw that in a few areas. Also, the storm surge was not as bad as once thought either, because we had 5 feet of storm surge already in Louisiana, or I'm sorry, New Orleans, before the storm even came. We got 8 inches of rain before Barry even affected the area. This was tropical moisture that was just streaming up from the Gulf. Part of that system, but not directly the storm at the time. But 7 feet was the most storm surge at Amanda Pass, Louisiana. Berwick, Louisiana, 6.7 feet. And that was really, after that, it's kind of minor, guys. 3.5 feet at Lake Pontchartrain. So I think people were ready. There were already evacuations in place. So I think that's why we heard about less water rescues, less deaths, less injuries. Here's the wind report. The peak wind was in Pinto Island at 72 miles an hour. New Iberia, Louisiana, 61 miles an hour. So I think we all can agree. I mean, right now, honestly, I'm so sick of this. Floods everywhere. These homes that are being damaged. I mean, every day I have to show you guys this stuff. I didn't do this last year because I couldn't find this last year. This was every other week. I mean, this is a common sight everywhere in the United States. And we're not done, folks. Flood season is not done yet, especially for this area and the mid-central plains, Midwest, the Great Lakes, Northern Plains. Maybe a little bit here in the Northeast, not as this bad, but still some higher water than usual. It's amazing that there's 219 images to look at here, folks. And just when you think you'd seen everything, you get to see another angle of it. And then, of course, the mess that you have once this water recedes. These people are looking at weeks of cleanup. This is going to affect the fishing industry down there. I mean, so much right now is at stake. Of course, you know, these bare shelves were from the storm. We get that. That's not from crop loss or anything like that. Let's get that straight before anybody tries to sensationalize that. Just some unbelievable efforts that people went through to try to prevent the flooding. And hopefully it worked. That's a lot of work. A lot of volunteers, a lot of hours of prep. And I think that's why, look at it. These people are actually putting their furniture on 2x4 blocks. Just in case if the water did get into the house. Beautiful home, by the way. Just people were ready. And they were ready because people were paying attention to the warnings. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people in the mainstream did a good job of communicating that, look, we're not saying it's going to be bad, but let's not wait until the last minute. This thing's going to bring us a lot of rain. We are going to deal with floods. You know, let's get prepared. And thankfully, everybody did. They listened to the warnings. I heard city officials in New Orleans, they were complimenting its citizens by getting off the roads, by obeying the curfews, by staying out of the way so they could do their work to do the cleanup to get some normality back. So, again, could have been worse. Everybody was, I think, was very prepared. And at this point, I mean, we've got a lot of damage to assess still. And we've got a lot of possibility of bad things that will come out of this economically. But for the most part, I think a lot of folks are starting to pay attention now. And a lot of folks are going to stop with this. Is it our fault? Is it natural? Just stay aware just for the sake of being aware, because this is some scary stuff sometimes. I know I'm a weather fanatic, and I used to enjoy watching the extreme weather videos when I was a kid. And now I can't get away from it, period. So this is not entertaining anymore. Not when they're every day in multiple parts of the world. This happened when I was a kid. It was a freak incident. All right, let's get into some weather news for us locally. Kind of take a look and see what is going on out there. I'll drag up Windy real quick. Take a look at our current situation. Let's go with some rain. Right now, man, you guys up in the very northern tip are experiencing some heavy showers. Some showers getting ready to move through the southwestern part of Ohio. Western Kentucky is experiencing rain. Let's see if we can put this in motion, actually. Which way is this going? Yeah, so it's going to continue to be heavy. A line of storms moving through Ohio overnight tonight into early tomorrow. And that's where we'll see the bulk of our rain through the early parts of the day. And then the latter part, some heavier showers heading towards the upstate New York, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Massachusetts, before finally racing off to the Atlantic. But then looks like another threat of some, wow, weird. Check out what's happening here in the Great Lakes. Look at this. This storm system breaks away. Maybe that's for Friday. That's not that far away, so that's kind of a weird feature here that Windy is indicating. Any of you in the chat right now that are watching this, has anybody ever seen that before? Let's watch it again. Let's hit the play button first. This system right here, as it's moving through the Great Lakes, we get a big chunk of shower activity breaking off in the UP, coming down through Detroit, and then making its way back towards the west as the rest of it goes towards the east. Interesting. Anybody has any insight on that? I'd love to hear that. Let's go to the GFS map, see what we got coming here in the next few days. Currently looking at some showers moving in. Ohio, Indiana, Illinois does not need the moisture. Parts of Iowa tonight also getting drenched. Minnesota, North Dakota, more rain for South Dakota, heavy rain as well. As we go through Wednesday, it's going to be a washout from Indiana all the way through the northeast, upstate New York. Some heavier shower activity overnight Wednesday into Thursday morning. Then we get some crazy moisture again. And even the GFS was picking up that weird motion in its forecast as well for Friday. There's that little area right there. Now, it doesn't go as far as Windy does, but it does show this area of precipitation breaking off in the main system and moving forward with its system here. So I don't know. Maybe we'll maybe one of them's got it wrong. I'm not sure. But right now, GFS is not forecasting that weird westward motion there. And for the most part, nothing too crazy happening over the next couple of days. More rain to move into the northeast. More showers and storms to come across Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, through Missouri, St. Louis, Iowa. More flood possibilities along the Ohio River. July 22nd, more monsoon rain for New Mexico, parts of Colorado, heavy rain across Oklahoma through Arkansas. Once again, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, and Ohio. Indiana seems to be the new target of all the moisture coming through our country. And then a high pressure system tries to make itself comfortable on Wednesday, July 24th, bringing more rain to the south. Not as much as we were originally reporting about a week ago, but still widespread scattered showers across the United States through July 25th. And then this low pressure system, really this thing's impressive. It actually hooks up with some tropical moisture on July 27th, and it's going to be a soaker that weekend on the East Coast as this storm slowly makes its way through Canada and off to the Atlantic Ocean. Again, the south is setting up for just more rain. There's a high pressure system setting out there in the middle of the Atlantic that's kind of putting this moisture on a conveyor belt, and that belt, that bubble, it's coming out here, so it's spitting this moisture up this way. So the high pressure system is turning things this way. Watch the redevelopment. It's like the atmosphere just continues to load up, bringing moisture. Really, Ohio, it's going to be a wet one. We got about 6 or 7 major systems moving through. Sorry about that, folks. You got me at the controls here. So Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. It's your turn. The south, intermittent showers off and on. Typical moisture for this time of year, nothing too crazy. Pretty heavy precipitation moving across the area on Sunday through Missouri, Iowa. Some heavy rain. Nebraska, let's see how you're looking. Some dry days coming for you guys, finally. Look at this. Maybe some scattered showers. Nebraska, Kansas. Through Friday, still dry weather. Nicely done here, folks. And then we get maybe some shower activity on the weekend. A little heavy there on the 21st through the 22nd. Again, we can take heavy rain once every 6 days. High pressure sets right up over our farming belt too, folks. This is kind of good news here for Iowa, Missouri, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma. Is high pressure is what you want right there. It's going to protect you from any moisture. It's drier air usually in these high pressure systems. As we head out to July 25th, these lows will prevail and bring moisture once again to the regions before another high pressure system kind of scoots down the middle of the United States but quickly escapes as we see more of a wetter pattern forming towards the end of July. So more moisture, and I got to guess that's coming from the tropics, folks. As hurricane season continues to peak, right now we're still in the early stages of the season. Our peak of the season really isn't until September. So let's take a quick look at our temperatures. I'm curious to see the end of this month. I kind of know it's coming here in the future, near future. And we were looking at this at our last broadcast. A noticeably cooler record or temperatures to hit the United States. So here we are this weekend. And I know here in upstate New York, we're expecting 90s. Friday into Saturday and into Sunday. And then we see cooler air trying to work its way in from Canada, or the Arctic, I should say. Canada's just the middleman. Look at this, daytime highs in the 70s and 60s in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, parts of Nebraska, parts of Kansas. Upper 70s. July 23rd. These are daytime highs, folks. Wow. Why is it cooler? Well, we got a lot of rain hitting these areas too. Look at that. Daytime highs, July 24th, 77 in South Bend, Indiana. Pittsburgh, 73. It's going to be warmer on the coast, 81 degrees, 83 in the capital region here in New York. Florida, hot, hot, hot. Parts of southern Georgia, Atlanta, 76 degrees for a high, July 24th. Really? That heat that I was talking about too in the south, that's really... GFS has really changed its tone with the heat across the south through Texas. This is normal summer weather here. 90s and low 90s and mid 80s. Southwest in the 90s. These are daytime highs for July 26th. We got some 60s in Denver. Mid 70s, low 70s in Nebraska. My question is to you farmers out there that's getting all this dry weather, guys, look at this. High pressure is bringing in drier and cooler air. Mid 70s for daytime highs. I'm sure you're welcoming this dry weather, but don't you need the heat and the light as well? I mean, this part of the month is crucial for that. And look at this area. These are the areas that we're concerned about with the agriculture, right here. They are not getting the proper heat. Bravo to weather.com, by the way. They're the ones that called a cooler July in this region after the middle of the month. They are right once again. NOAA, surprisingly, was wrong. That was sarcastic, by the way. Again, July 28th. Mid-70s for most of this farming community here. Yeah, we got some 90s in Texas. The local areas that we expect to see in the high 90s. A little bit of heat wave up there in Montana. Even the Northwest. Woo! Fires right up. July 29th. Watch out. Triple digits, guys. But for the rest of the country, not so much. And then that's it. That dies down. That heat wave dies down the next day. Daytime highs. July 30th. Dayton, Ohio, 74. Cleveland, 78. Parts of upstate New York, 69 degrees for the daytime high. little bit of summer comes back all of a sudden, July 30th. Wednesday, daytime heat. Mid-70s upstate New York. Mid-70s in the north central plains. Kansas and Nebraska finally making it back into the low 80s. So by the time we get to August 1st, the dog days of summer, this is what your dog days look like. Low 80s, mid 70s, some areas in the 60s. South, you're hot. Southwest, West Coast, you're hot. But for the most part, not a very normal looking July for temperatures, guys. So yeah, we're experiencing some heat waves here and there throughout the country. But the areas that we really need the heat, it's just not going to be existent, unfortunately. And that concerns me about the condition of these crops. What the harvest actually is going to look like. What kind of yields are we talking about? And I'll have Mari, we'll put the pictures for the corn that I found today in our Thursday night broadcast. It's absolutely ridiculous. Mari, do you want to come over here and say hello and before we wrap it up for tonight's show? By the way, Al No is definitely gone. We're in the neutral stage. Hi, Mari.
What a show, Jake.
Thank you.
Jam-packed.
It was.
Tonight.
Did a good job.
I'm still a little bothered about how people are treating Valentina. It really makes my blood boil to see these ego-filled guys from different universities try to combat her on her paper, and they clearly have not read and taken in all the data.
Nope.
They're nitpicking these little things and then trying to twist it to their own narrative. And if you look at their social media accounts, they're all AGW alarmists.
Of course. That goes against their agenda.
But anyway, let's look at my little notes from the chat. Grizzly just popped in and said he wanted to find out why the lightning was purple Saturday night. And we've discussed this on a few shows, that more nitrogen and oxygen molecules in the atmosphere can produce that purple, real vibrant purple, violet kind of lightning.
It's also an indication of a very highly charged atmosphere. Lee Wilbarger, in the earlier days of my discovery of the grand solar minimum, that's one of the things he pointed out. The purple skies, the more purple it is, the more highly charged the atmosphere is.
Doug asked if I saw his order on Teespring. We don't have visibility of who orders what on Teespring. He ordered a sweatshirt, like a hoodie, and I told him you'd be jealous.
Yes,
because,
I'm getting that next.
You've been wanting one.
It's on my wish list.
I haven't gotten one. So thank you for supporting us with that, Doug. Thor and Matt are mods in the chat, so thank you guys,
What's up, guys?
For being here with us. A few people mentioned that David Dubine mentioned us on Adapt 2030. I want to thank Adapt 2030 for giving us a shout out like that. We shared the empty shelves the beginning of July, and we've had people. It's almost snowballed into just crazy amounts of photos being emailed and sent in and left in comments to us about empty shelves, what the status is. It's fantastic information to take in. We really have to be paying attention to this, and people need to be preparing now. Whether or not they believe what's going on, it's still great practice to be prepared. So, I really appreciate everyone communicating what they're seeing worldwide. Let's see what we got here. Todd Hathaway, he said he had like a bunch of master's degrees and he believes in Valentina's work. So thank you, Todd. The weird little swirl going to the east, Walter, who, by the way, did a super chat, thank you, Walter, said that it was the Coriolis effect.
I'll have to look into that.
So I'm not going to get into it. I have the definition up, but it's so hot here today, Jake.
Yeah, it's hot. Robbie Hill says, snow in Canada, Jake. Eh?
We have to turn off our AC, so it's not so loud when we do live shows. So like it's like a sauna in here right now.
It would sound like we were doing a broadcast from the inside of a refrigerator. So,
oh dear. Let's see. People are talking to each other enough to get the word out, but other issues will distract people, such as wars, earthquakes, volcanoes. The main focus will quickly redirect to survival for most people, and that's also from Todd. It's so true. It doesn't matter what the issue is, whether you believe in grand solar minimum or something crazy happening with a volcano and causing a year without a summer, or just severe weather. Be prepared, really, people. And there's some great, fantastic discussion going on in the chat. People are talking about different lighting situations, whether or not to have a greenhouse or grow indoors. I recommend actually having both, toggle them. And if you go with a greenhouse, start off with cheap materials like plastic. We're combating natural elements like hail. You don't want to spend a lot of money on
something you can repair cheaply.
We got to focus on cheap, affordable solutions that you can replace easily. So stock up on plastic. And people are talking about like LED lighting because they use less energy. Some people are worried about them rationing energy in the future. There's a lot of interesting discussions in reference to the SNAP dates. I guess some states already do that. Some toggle it already, and some people are saying that's just a state that's behind, that's just catching up. It might not be directed to a food storage situation. Other people are saying that the mass influx of immigrants out near like Nevada, California area, that is also sort of causing stress on the system. These people, it's been proven that they're coming here to sort of reap the benefits of, good old USA. They come over the border and get free benefits, and look at what the liberals are supporting with socialist agenda. It's a hard situation that we face as a country, and it's this food supply is no joke. We have to be very careful how it's managed, and the best way to do that is to take action yourself and get prepared and start growing and banking seeds and doing what you can to fend for yourself and your family.
Thank you, Mari, for that full report from the chat. Again, thanks for everyone for participating. A great group of mods that we have tonight.
And I did mention briefly in the chat, I did speak with Valentina today about getting a fundraiser. I will have more information to that, our next live show. We really, as a community, need to support her research. She is being bullied and harassed by people who are who have an agenda. And we want to keep her research going. She is just showing the science and doesn't deserve the disrespect that she is getting.
No, but she has thick skin. She'd probably be a great candidate to become a Browns fan as well. So she is a warrior, is all I can say about Valentina. What a warrior. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for tuning in. We will do another live broadcast on Thursday. I know we're kind of off kilter here on the scheduling this week. Thursday night. And then Sunday afternoon, we saw a pretty good showing of listeners on Sunday afternoon. So I think we're going to continue that. And we're going to have an old friend joining us as that fly on the wall during our broadcast and just discussing climate views and everything like that. We're going to have our friend Henrik from Denmark joining us as well to talk about grand solar minimum news and everything that surrounds it. That's going to do it for us tonight, guys. We will see you again on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Until then, we will talk soon, guys. Make sure you check out our Patreon channel, Facebook, and, of course, at Twitter at Grand Solar Minimum. So, guys, take care out there. We'll talk soon.